Okay, friends, welcome back. So, the other day we were talking about the speaking test, its tips, and the instructions. We are known for it. Okay, Pooja, is that clear?
Yes, sir.
So, now you are very well versed with the instructions and the tips for speaking test. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, no worries. Now, I'll show you a small clip of the video how the speaking test happens. Watch it. Try to find from your end what are the good things that speaker is speaking and what are the errors that speaker is making. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Okay, fine. Now, just watch this video.
Yes, sir.
Now, we've been talking about a well known person who you like or admire, and I'd like to discuss with you one or two more general questions related to this. Let's consider, first of all, being in the public eye. Famous people are watched by everybody. What are the
Yes.
advantages and disadvantages of that?
Okay, the advantages is that a lot of people watching you, so you become famous, and there are a lot of things which you can do correctly and politically right, uh, because there is media watching you, and you can go ahead and pass the message to the media in a right way. The disadvantage is that you have to be diplomatically correct. At times, if there are certain things which are incorrect, still you have to go ahead and do that, which doesn't make sense, because there are a lot of political leaders, they are into corruption back in India, and at times, yeah, there are some things which are wrong, but they have to do it
Why do they have to do it?
because there's a lot of political pressure, and if they don't do it, the political party would not support them, and in the end, they have to resign.
Do you think the media plays a role in that? What is the media's approach to reporting what famous people do?
Well, media plays an important role. Uh, at times, media will actually show things which are not correct, or if you see it, it looks like, yeah, he's wrong, but that's not the case. So yeah, media plays a very important role. They portray in a wrong manner at times, and sometimes they do portray in a right manner.
Can anything be done about that, do you think?
Well, not really, because in today's world, what has happened is everything is communicated by media, television, news, internet. So you just have to go ahead and probably call the media and do a meeting and answer questions to the public and give justification and reasons.
Very often the media reports on the most trivial things
Yeah.
in important issues, but people are fascinated by those things. Why are people fascinated by?
Because these days people like to listen to gossip and trivial things. They're not interested in the bigger part, what's happening. They have a simple life. They would like to live it their way. They are not bothered what is happening within the country. There are only few people you see are really interested in knowing about the country, and getting all the information and reacting.
Let's go on and talk about this celebrity culture. How are famous people used by advertisers nowadays?
Famous people are really used for advertising, because one, they can promote the product, and two, there are a lot of fans. They're fans, so obviously if they are using that product, what will happen is those fans will actually use that product, and of course it's a money making business. I mean, if Mahatma Gandhi wore a watch of Swash, I would
You would wear it?
Yeah, I would wear it. I was like, oh, he wore it, I'll wear it.
The use of famous people in advertising and other things, do you think that has a negative effect, especially on young people?
At times, yes, there are some of the advertisements which are not meant, or not, they are offensive to younger generations. So at times, yes.
Do you think that famous people can influence public opinion beyond just selling things? They can make people vote differently or believe other
Yes,
things?
they can. They influence a lot of people today. Even cricketers or any kind of famous personality, they influence the public, uh, to do things.
How do you feel about that?
Uh, well, I'm fine with that as long as, I mean, at times I do like, but then at times I don't like, so I don't bother much.
All right. Well, thanks, Kush. That's the end of the speaking test.
Thank you.
Yes, Pooja.
Yes, sir.
Why are you going off the camera? Right? Why are you going off the camera? Okay. What do you predict?
Sir, 8 or 9, sir.
8 or 9?
Yes, sir.
Let me see your prediction now. Okay?
Yes, sir.
8.
8.
So you're bang on. Right?
Yes,
So here, what happens is that okay, why she was so good in getting the 8. Okay, she speaks very fluently. Her speech was very fluent and is able to give quite long and detailed responses. Correct? Whatever she was speaking, she could connect with the topic and give reasonable reasons, isn't it? And there was a hesitation was there. No, looking at her eyes this way, but still she could manage it and relate it to the topic very clearly, right? So she had a lot of good linking words, right? Even then she was using the fillers, as we see, I mean, these things. Okay, these are all good at times because it gives you the time to think, but using them repeatedly will take you to the lower band.
yes, sir.
Once in a way, if you use it, it is fine because that gives you the time to think. Okay. So, but naturally, that is not the case. I am fine with that. She says, no, makes use very natural thing. She gave the answer very naturally. She was not saying that, in my opinion, or I think. She was not taking it on her part. She was speaking it generally. When she was asked, what is your opinion? Then she said, okay, it's not the case with me. I'm fine with that. Whatever is going on, let it go. Why should I bother? As long as it is not affecting me, why should I bother? Right? Neutral.
Yes.
Okay. Her vocabulary resource is wide and it allows her to talk about a range of topics with some flexibility and precision. Right? She was using beautiful vocabularies like trivial, okay,
Yes, sir.
money making business, into corruption, right, in the today's world. But one mistake, what she could have avoided here is that specifying a name of a specific country,
Yes, sir.
right? She said the politicians are corrupt in India, like. So now what happens? This becomes very public. That means all the politicians in India are corrupt, right? So instead of saying one country's name, she could have said politicians in many democratic countries or many countries, right,
Yes, sir.
are termed as corrupt. She could have put it in the other way around. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So that's why she could get banned 8 because of her good vocabulary and connections.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you want to go for one more?
Yes, sir.
Let me see. I don't know whether it will be there. Okay. Now let me see if I can get you some. Okay. On the YouTube, you just see the score of 8.5. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Can you see the screen?
Yes, sir. But it's not changing, sir.
Not changing.
No, sir.
Now, can you see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Just let me see.
Hi, and welcome to AE Helps IELTS Test Preparation videos. In this video, you will
Is it okay now?
Yes, sir. It's audible also, sir.
Okay, great.
see a native Indian IELTS student who would likely score about an 8.5 on her performance for the speaking section of the IELTS exam. Just a quick reminder to everybody, we will be starting our live IELTS classes streaming on YouTube from December 15th at 14:30 London time, 20 o'clock India time, 22:30 Beijing time, and 9:30 New York time. So make sure you opt in for that, and you can interact with us, ask us your questions, and we can help you get an even higher score in your next IELTS exam. For lots more help and all of our videos, including 6 practice exams and live speaking with other students, please join us at www.aehelp.com for lots more. All right, now let's watch and learn.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is David Johnson. Can you give me your full name, please?
My name is Rochelle Gupta.
Thank you. And can you tell me where you're from, Rochelle?
I'm from Mumbai, India.
And can I see your identification,
Sure.
please? Thank you, that's fine.
Thank you.
Now, in the first part, I'm going to ask you some questions about yourself. Let's talk about habits first. What are some common habits or behaviors that people do? And are these good or bad?
I think the most common habits that people have are smoking, drinking tea, coffee. According to me, drinking coffee and smoking are bad, but drinking tea is good.
Do you have any habits?
Yes. I like to drink tea at least once a day, either Assam or Darjeeling tea.
Have you ever tried changing any of your routine behaviors or habits?
That's an interesting question. I used to bite my nails when I would be nervous before. Now I don't. These days I play with my ring instead.
Why do people develop certain habits, do you think?
I think there are several reasons why someone might develop routine behaviors or patterns. Probably the most common one would be stress management.
How can people change their habits? And can you give an example?
I think, firstly, it's very difficult to change routine habits and behaviors. But the first step that one can take is to recognize what the habit is, pay attention on the habit, and also want to change it.
Are there any new behaviors people do these days that didn't exist before?
Just give me a minute to think on that. Yes, there are quite a few habits that are quite new and did not exist before. One of the most common ones and the most dangerous is texting while driving. This is proved to cause a lot of accidents.
Now, I'm going to give you a topic and I'd like you to talk about it for 1 to 2 minutes.
Okay.
Now, before you speak, you can have 1 minute to make some notes.
So now that you've seen a part of this IELTS speaking interview, the question you should be asking is, why does this student get an 8.5 for her performance in the speaking section? Well, first of all, her use of English and her fluency is very close to that of a native speaker. Notice as well that she uses natural fillers like and throughout her speaking. A lot of students think this is a negative and will actually take from your score, but this is not true. Natural fillers in every language are a normal everyday part of language use. It allows us to think about our communication and give better answers. In this case, the student does exactly that. When she's using or her speech is still natural and her fluency is still excellent, and you will notice that her answers are very accurate and well-rounded with good examples. So, before you sit your IELTS exam, make sure to practice the speaking at home and practice using natural fillers to help you buy time to give better answers. Do this and your mark will improve for sure. All right, now it's time for you to practice. If you had trouble understanding the video, make sure to watch it again. To see the rest of this video and for lots more help with the IELTS exam, please visit us on our website at www.aehelp.com and join our full course. There you will find lots of material.
Introducing an executive MBA designed for the digital business.
Is it audible and visible both?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
My name is Harnik Singh. Today I'm your IELTS test invigilator. Let's start with the test.
Sure, sir.
What's your name?
My name is Arushi.
Can I see your identification, please?
Here it is, sir.
What is your father's name?
It's Mr. Pavan Vermani.
And where are you from?
I'm from Kurukshetra. It's a small town in Haryana.
Alright, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Are you currently studying or working somewhere?
Well, I have just completed my bachelor's in tourism management and now I'm looking further for higher studies in abroad.
Okay. What you are planning to study?
Well, I have selected some courses in Canada and global hospitality management is something that I prefer.
Why do you do?
I've done my bachelor's in tourism management and that would be the most appropriate choice for me. So that's why I've chosen it.
Alright. Now let's talk about cooking.
Yeah.
Are you interested in cooking?
Yes, of course I am. I'm very much interested in cooking.
Okay. When have you learned it and from whom you have learned this?
Well, basic cooking that I've learned is from my mother and my grandmother. But right after my secondary education got completed, I started learning cooking professionally in cooking classes. And that was a breakthrough point for me and I started loving cooking.
Alright, fine. Is cooking popular in your country?
I think it's not about popularity, but about necessity. Cooking and food is necessary for everyone, so everyone cooks whether they like it or not. But some people love to cook and it's their recreational activity.
Okay, who all cook in your home?
Well, mostly my mother cooks But occasionally my father and I also help her.
Okay, it's fine. Um, so, do people have to learn how to cook, or they get the training at home itself in your country?
Well, it depends. If a person has a bit of interest in cooking, they would be keen and they would start learning at a very tender age, from their mothers, grandmothers, from their cooks.
Is there a specific age to learn cooking?
No, I don't think so. I have a cousin who is 4 years old and he knows how to make tea. So learning can start from a very young age.
All right. And then you think it's really important for everyone to learn cooking?
Yes, of course, it's very important to learn how to cook because it's necessity. You need food for survival, and if you know how to cook food well, then it's good for you.
Right. So, have you ever seen some cooking programs on television, and are they useful?
Well, I have seen some programs on television, but from my perception, I believe they're not very much important or learning. But from professional point of view, I think they're very good.
Okay. Fine, let's move to festivals. Now I'm going to ask you some questions related to festivals.
Sure.
What's your favorite festival?
Well, I love Christmas the most. I think I'm partial towards it because my birthday is on Christmas Day, so that is the reason.
Okay, fine. So, can you tell me about the most important festival in your country?
Well, Diwali happens to be the most important festival in our country. It's the biggest festival that the whole country celebrates together, right? And it has religious value as well as business values now, right? Every company launches a new product in market during the time of Diwali. Every business is booming.
Do you think it's good?
It is getting commercial rather than religious, so I think it's good, but also a little disturbing.
Okay, why is it so?
Because people are losing their culture a little bit because they're getting into commercial sides of the business.
Who do you think is responsible for this, and what should be done?
Yeah, I think we humans are responsible for that, but I think that is how things are working right now, so you cannot stop it, but you have to be with it.
Do you think it's going to change in future, if it's going to be?
I hope it does change, but I don't see a scope for it to change.
All right. Which festival do you enjoy the most?
Well, Christmas. It's the best festival, best thing that happens. I love everything to be peaceful and calm. So this is a festival which does not have a very popularity in our country right now. And that's why I enjoyed it.
All right. What is the importance of festival in society?
The festivals are related to religion, culture, and tradition. So, if a person or if society requires growth, then culture and tradition is something that every person should look upon.
Okay. Now let's start with the cue card topic.
Sure, sir.
The topic you have to speak on is describe a long car journey. Now you have a minute of time to prepare on it.
Sure, sir.
And then you will have to speak on this topic for 1 to 2 minutes. Here are some hints given to you to help to plan this topic. And please don't write anything on this booklet.
Sure,
Here is a paper and pencil for you to plan. All right, your 1 minute starts now.
Thank you.
Are you prepared?
Yes, sir.
Fine, you may start now.
Well, I have been fond of traveling since my childhood. I think I have inherited that gene from my father. He loves to travel and he always comes up with plans, spontaneous plans to travel to nearby places because we live in Kurukshetra and hill stations are very nearby us. So I would like to talk about a very recent long car journey that I went on to. It was a family trip planned with our family and some family friends as well. So it was a trip to Shimla, and we started our journey early in the morning. And it was very fun and enjoyable moment for us because it has been a very long time since we have took a holiday and went to a very mesmerizing and peaceful place. So we started our journey early in the morning and reached there in around 10 hours, while the whole journey would take around 4.5 hours, but it took us 10 hours because we kept little halts in between, and that was the highlight of our trip. And it was very normal trip, I would say, because it was we were accompanied by our family and family friends, so elder people were with us, so we were not allowed to do much of a fun as we wish to do so. But the highlight of this trip turned out to be when our cousins and friends decided to extend our trip from 5 day to 10 day. That we decided to go on a road trip, and then from Shimla to Naldera to Kufri to Chel, and that is how we extended our trip. So it was a very mesmerizing time for us because none of us had been to a road trip.
How did you feel when you returned from your trip?
Well, I was just heartened because now we had to go back to our daily routine because the trip was enjoyable, and we could not make it happen from more than 10 days because everyone had to join their jobs and colleges and everywhere.
What is a good time for people to go on a trip in your place where you live?
I think e- every time is okay with it, right? If you have time, you should go. Whether it's a 1 day trip, 2 day, or for 10 days, it does not matter. If you have time and you wish to travel, go ahead and travel.
So, are people easily able to make time for the trips?
I think trend is changing. Nowadays, people have time to go on vacations, short vacations, but earlier it was very difficult.
All right, that's all for your KitKat topics. So
Thank
can
you.
you return this to me? Thank you. All right, so I'm going to ask you some questions related to the journey, the car journey people make, and how do they travel.
Sure.
So, can you tell me what is the preferred mean of traveling in your place?
Well, according to me and people I surround with, people always prefer their private conveyance, and because they have the authority to make halts in every place they wish to, but that restricts in public transportation.
Okay, is it good thing that everyone wants to own a car?
Well, personally, it's very good. It's good for the growth, but if we talk about it in the point of view of society or environment, it's not that healthy.
So, what should be done to provide an awareness to people so that they don't go for car all the time? They want to travel to usual places.
Well, I think only doctors or health institutions can make that happen. Government has taken some steps and introduced carpoolings. Public transportation has been better, and new modes are introduced. But the people are neglecting that because they have money, because they have financial resources to themselves. So they are not paying attention to it because they can afford it. But if it comes to their health, and if they see the benefits of using environmental friendly vehicles, bicycles, e-rickshaws, or carpooling, something like
Are
that.
these going popular in your place now? The
Yes.
bicycles, e-rickshaws?
Yes, definitely. People in my family also are using bicycles to go to their workplaces. They are carpooling to distant places. So yes, it is.
Do you
really-
think it's going to increase in future than what it is today?
I think according to the scenario, it will increase, but nothing can be said.
All right. So, what's the difference between men and women's preference on traveling?
I think it does not have to have anything with gender. If a person feels comfortable in traveling, they would go for private vehicles because they want comfort. Comfort is their priority. But if they're not comfortable with traveling or they don't like traveling, they will not travel to whether public transportation or private. It does not matter. It's
Don't you think so that women prefer more comfort over men when it comes to traveling?
No, I don't think so. Because people that I've seen or what I have observed in the area, that everyone has their own opinions and likes and dislikes. So it is not about the ratio what men or women like.
We don't see too many women on the road on cycle than what we see men.
Because it's not that safe. Our country is not that safe for girls to travel independently.
Why is it so?
Because of the mentality of the people, I believe, and they are not open-minded or up to that mark which they would have, and accepting the fact that people are traveling, girls or women are traveling independently. And I think solo trips, even on vacation, solo trips are not welcomed in our society. When a girl tries to take a solo trip, it's not welcomed. So it's about the mentality and the scenario.
Do you think by any which means this mentality is going to change in near future?
And I don't think it's going to change, but it can always improve. And it will only happen with the help of education. If people are educated, they would improve. But if our literacy rate is not improving, then we will be like this.
What is the biggest change in traveling you have witnessed in last 10 years from now?
I think people are becoming much more comfortable in traveling because of the easy mode of conveyance, and this is the only change that I've seen.
All right, that's all for your speaking now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, Pooja,
Yes, sir.
right? So, how did you feel about this speaking part? Was it more comfortable for you to understand
Yes, sir.
than the other three what we did?
Yes, sir.
Why?
Sir, it was clear, sir. Her English was.
Her English was clear.
Yes, sir.
Why
And
others' English was not clear?
sir, I think they were talking with their means
Hmm.
their mother tongue language, like
They were
that.
all talking in English only. Nobody was talking in the mother tongue.
No, sir.
The accent, no? The accent, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
I showed you different videos to understand, see how the different country people,
Yes, sir.
right? One was from Korea, the other one was from Vietnam, the third one was from China, okay? And
Yes, sir.
the latest one was from India,
Yes, sir.
okay? So I wanted to give you that tip. I wanted to make you to understand that here the country or the society will not make any difference for you. The accent is not that important, how you speak. But the grammar, how you are using it, the fillers, the using the fillers like the natural fillers. I was telling you in the very beginning of the class also. Instead of saying, I mean, so these fillers, they will pull you down the band. But instead of that, if you say, yes, it is right, or I don't think it could be good enough. So that gives you the natural fillers using, but normally what people use is the verbal fillers that it should be avoided. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So that's where we saw Kushi speaking an Indian and this lady Jisha speaking an Indian. It was easy for you to understand because you are an Indian.
Yes, sir.
right? And the English was simple for you here. The same thing when the Vietnamese or the what do you call as Chinese was speaking, it was difficult for you to understand their pronunciation.
Yes, sir.
It's not the accent, the pronunciation. It was difficult for you to understand their pronunciation. That's why you were not able to understand it, right?
Yes, sir.
So in each of these, you have come across the examiner different. But in the first three videos, what we said, the questions were the same.
Yes, sir.
Questions were the same. Correct? Means
Yes.
how the pattern of the question goes. But with different people from different countries. Right? But here, all was put in one thing. All the three parts were put in one video.
Yes.
So that's why I showed you this video so that you understand and you prepare yourself in a better manner for tomorrow's speaking practice.
Yes, sir.
Okay, for tomorrow's speaking practice.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so tomorrow, what you will be speaking about is one is your self introduction.
Yes, sir.
I'll ask you the questions. You have to answer me how good you will be answering. Okay. Just I am giving you a hint on which topic you want to prepare yourself so that you will have that fluency in you.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
To how to present and how you will be able to make it. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So tomorrow is Friday and Saturday and Sunday. I'll be asking you without a clue or without a hint, I'll be asking you the questions and you have to answer it. Is that fine with you?
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So tomorrow I told you one is the self-introduction. As I have told you how you would introduce yourself.
Yes, sir.
Right? And second, about the cue card topic. Right? The
Yes, sir.
cue card topic for you would be your favorite dish.
Yes, sir.
Your favorite dish.
Yes,
That means which item in the food items what you like the most. It can be gobi manchuri, or it can be golgappa, that is pani puri, or it can be bread jam, or it can be your gulab jamun, whatever it is.
Yes,
Your
sir.
favorite dish.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
And
sir.
then the next thing is you will have to tell me about the days you have spent in your university campus.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Yes,
The
sir.
days that you have spent in your university campus. So all the three parts we will be covering tomorrow,
Yes, sir.
right? So that's
Yes,
why I showed you these videos so that whatever the tips I have given, everything is followed in the video, isn't it?
yes, sir.
I explained you also why the low band and why the high band, right?
Yes, sir.
So the fluency, the coherence. Coherence means connecting to the topic. And connecting the words, you should not jump from topic to something else. Okay?
Yes, sir.
So that's how you prepare yourself today, get ready for tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
Is that fine?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. See you tomorrow.
See.
Okay, bye. Yeah.
Attendance feedback form.
Attendance feedback form. Mitali, are you there? Hello? Mitali? Hello, Mitali? Are you there?
I think ma'am is not there.
I'm getting late for my next class.
Sir, ma'am will share in classroom, Google Classroom. I will fill that. Sir.
Okay, she will share it in the Google Classroom.
Yes, sir. I
Okay.
will take.
So I am here only and sharing the link. Just a moment.